Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me again today. I am back with a new layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2017 May Hip Kits for this. And the theme for today is to use 4 or more photos. So I picked out some things I thought I might want to start with. I've got my 4 photos here, and I printed them in black and white just because the colors were very clashy. And they're just 4 pictures of my daughter from a few years ago. She was out in the backyard playing in this little sprinkler thing, gadget that we had. And she had some Legos in one hand and a bottle of water in the other hand that she was playing with. And she was just having herself a great time. She had grass stuck to her head because she was half wet and just playing in the yard. And they're just cute pictures. And so I've been eyeballing this paper here. Since we got the kits. I think it's beautiful. It's from the Chamel, I can't remember the name of the collection, but it's a Chamel paper. And I really thought that I was going to cut some of these out into kind of chevron arrows and layer them behind my pictures. I really wasn't sure what I was going for. I was just kind of playing around. I picked out some embellishments and some die cuts, Project Life cards that I thought might go. And I just started pushing the papers and the pictures around. Nothing was jumping out at me at this point as far as this design goes. I really wasn't liking anything that I was coming up with. So I took a little rest and took a break and came back and realized that I wanted to use these Oasis stamps. I wanted to use them last week, but I didn't. And they got covered up with some paper. And then I saw them again and I thought, oh yes, please, please let me use these. So what I decided to do was scratch the idea of using that paper, and I thought I'm just going to make my own background. And I looked at the pictures and I thought, you know, I just want to make a bunch of words in the background that describe her. So I'm going to just take some time and do a bunch of stamping, and I have to take each letter one by one and just stamp the word. I'm using some archival black ink, and I pulled up the thesaurus online and typed in spunky because she is spunky, and I found all these fun adjectives that describe her. And so I thought I'm just gonna make a background, kind of like a list, and they're gonna be kind of crooked and not in a straight line, and that's the way I wanted it to look. So there you go. I got all these words done. I think they look so cool. Those stamps are fantastic. They are crepe paper Oasis, and I like the size of them. I like that they're open. You could paint them. They're awesome. They're very versatile for almost anything. So now I use this paper for my first layout for this month as a background, and I love it so much. I thought I'm going to do something a little bit different with it with my second sheet. And I left the center part of my cardstock open because I knew that I was going to cover it with some paper like this, and then add my photos kind of in a row. And so I want that beautiful ombre background of color to kind of show around the pictures. So I'm not covering up any of the stamping. And I thought what I would do, since the words are kind of, you know, they're crooked and they're not perfectly lined up, that I would fill in some of those spaces with some of the die cut flowers. And those are exclusives this month from Hip Kit Club. And I'm just kind of going through everything and seeing what would fit where. What am I going to do in the middle of the pictures, since I've got 2 on one side and 2 on the other. So in the meantime, I just move everything and I come in with some clear gesso. I haven't used clear gesso in a while. I didn't want to cover up any of the color in that paper. And so the clear gesso does the same thing as white gesso, except it just dries clear. And so everything is going to remain the same color. Now I'm going to use some of the Prima watercolor confections that we got in the color kit this month, and just use the packaging technique. And I just want to add some messy random color to the background. I couldn't leave it just solid white. It was just too white. And so I'm gonna kind of come in with some blues, aquas, that pinkish coral color, and some of that golden yellow, and just use my brush, use the packaging. A lot of this is going to be, you know, covered with the photos and some embellishments, but I'm going to try not to cover up any of those words. And that's what I like about the paint, is I can paint over it just like this, and you can still read the words. The ink is still going to show through. And just, you know, be careful with the ink that you use. I'm not You know, I'm not an expert on stamping by any means, and I'm definitely not an expert on ink pads. But if you're going to add water or gesso or some kind of paint over stamping ink, make sure you get some that's waterproof or archival. I think what I'm using is the Ranger archival ink, and it definitely says permanent and waterproof on it, and so I can add water to it. It's not going to smudge. I know if you use those Tim Holtz Distress inks, they are meant to react with water, so they will definitely smudge if you add water to them. So just be sure you're using the right ink. So I did a lot of splattering there using the inks, and then once everything dried off camera, I did some sewing, and I pulled out some of the same 3 colors that I've got going on already, and I just did some back and forth stitching under each word in blue, pink, and yellow, just to give it a little bit of color and texture. And then I stuck all my pictures to a strip of tissue paper, and I'm just going to use that as a little subtle layer behind the pictures. And sorry about the glare on my lights. I keep trying to make sure that doesn't happen, but sometimes I forget and I just get in the zone and I forget that I have lights shining on things. So now I'm just going to play around with Project Life cards, some embellishments, and try to find things that have that blue, the yellow, or the pink color on it. Just going to add a couple of layers behind a couple of the pictures. And then I'm going to try to go through this Chamel sticker book. I really wanted to use this little bear with the banner. I just thought it was so cute. And for some reason, he had a big white strip on one side and not on the other. I don't know if it's the way that they were printed or what, but I trimmed that off so it was even. And looking it back now, I think it looks cute, but I do take it off. I am going to keep these exclusive die cut flowers, and I pulled in some of these really cute, tiny, exclusive wood veneer flowers. I think they look so cute. But I felt like I needed something else layered in the middle where the yellow place is. It's just plain. And so I'm going to use this Amy Tan paper. This is actually the back of the black with the white grid on it. I used that as a background last week. And so I had an extra sheet of it, and I thought I'm just going to cut out some of these flowers. They match that corally pink color that I've already got in the layout, and so I was going to layer those in there just like that, just to give the middle a little bit of interest. And then I thought, well, I'll cut out some of the smaller ones and use those. I've got one in the top left and one in the bottom right. I did add some foam underneath the pictures, all 4 of them, and so they're going to have a little bit of dimension. And then I'm just going to play around with some things. I really like that butterfly, and it did match, but I just felt like it was too big and too busy, or it would make everything just look, it would cover up all that yellow, and I wanted the yellow to show. And I just didn't want another big item on the layout to make it too distracting. Now this is a little, it almost reminds me of a stamp, but it's like a stamp you would use on a letter to mail, but it's a big sticker, and I like that wavy outline, and I just cut it in half and used it as a layering piece, and it's give a little pop of yellow in between the pictures there. And before I glue things down, I'm going to add in some thread, and I'm just going to use the same colors that I stitched with. That blue color, some golden yellow, and then a little bit of pink. And I arranged my pictures, if you'll notice, in a couple of them, actually 3 of them, she's kind of looking in certain directions. The first picture, she's looking down to the right, and so I wanted that picture on the left. And in the second picture, she's looking straight on. And then in the picture, the third one, looks like she's looking out, but her eyes are looking straight. And then on the 4th picture, she's reaching to the left. And so that's why I put that picture on the right. Looks like she's reaching to the picture next to her. And I don't know why I'm so picky about that, but I'm very picky. That kind of determines my design a lot, is the direction of which the person is looking in the pictures. So, one of my OCD things. So I just decided to go kind of simple in the middle. For the title, I'm going to use the word you from these awesome, gorgeous aqua, light blue, whatever color you want to call them, puffy stickers, and then I'm going to pair that up with the word shine and that little wood veneer there. And I just felt like, you know, all those words floating around kind of all could be considered part of the title. It's just, you know, words to describe her, and so I didn't really need a specific title because they're just cute pictures. You know, she's just having a good time being herself, and all these words already describe her. And so I just thought I'll use kind of some things that are in the kit and let them do the thinking for me. These are some of the exclusive puffy stickers. I believe Kim Watson designed these, and I'm going to pull in this little bird. Here's something I learned. I wanted to trim off that thick white border around the bird. Yeah, once I did that, I completely dismantled the whole puffy sticker. It came apart. So the edges of the stickers are what's holding the sticker together. So if you cut any of the edges off, it's probably going to come apart, but that's okay. I just glued it back together and added a little bit of foam under it, and you would never know. Poor bird. I just thought he was too cute, and he matched, and he looked cute perched right there on top of those pictures. And again, the bird is looking to the right, and so I put him on the left. So I'm going to add a little bit more splattering here because I did wind up covering some of that up with the flowers. And I love how this is looking. Those stamps just, I love those stamps. I'm definitely going to keep those on my desk long after these kits are gone because they are the gift that keeps on giving. Can use those forever and ever. One of the last things I'm going to do is come back into the Chamel sticker book and use these little alphas. They're clear stickers. And I'm just going to use the yellow ones and spell her name. So it's going to say Paige, you shine. Just thought it needed a little something up there that wasn't too busy, but would keep it interesting. So there you go. You can see that. And I thought about doing some journaling. I wind up not doing any journaling on this because, like I said, the words kind of say it all, and you know, clearly she's just running around playing outside. It wasn't a monumental event. It was just a random fun day, and I did add the date, but that's the final layout. I think this turned out great. I love the colors. Those stamps just got me excited, so I highly recommend you trying the stamps if you got those. And don't be afraid to look at your papers and fussy cut things out like I did those flowers. There's always awesome things and shapes that you can cut out and make your own embellishments. And just try to think outside the box sometimes and do something different, like make your own pattern paper with stamps. It was fun. So let me know if you have any questions about any of the products or anything that I did here. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So make sure you check out the Hip Kit blog and the member forum. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week.